With their enemies amassing and threats on all sides, the agents of X-Force will need to get very creative if they ever hope to strike back. All this and more on the pages of X-Force issue number 15. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Well, now isn't this kind of surprising? Instead of getting a fallout from the events of X of Swords, instead we get thrown right back into what was happening before X-Force went on its little break. You'll recall that Krakoa was still reeling from a series of Russian-backed attacks that had stolen intelligence and indeed the Cerebro sword from the mutants. Beast, continuing to act incredibly overzealous, decides the only way to deal with these Russian leaks is to intern every mutant of Russian origin, including friends like Colossus and enemies like Omega Red. Naturally, Wolverine was pretty damn pissed about this shabby treatment for such a long-time brother in arms, but he was able to get Jean back ever so briefly to try and run the psychic interrogation so Beast wouldn't end up running it. Beast ends up walking away with probably my favorite line of the issue, though, saying that he should really be there for the interrogation. After all, it's the difference between a consumer and a critic. Jean only knows how to eat information, while Beast knows to ask questions and parse said information. Turns out it's like everyone thought, and Colossus is totally clean, and they messed with a friend in his life who was already going through a hard time for absolutely no reason. Oops. Now, what is to be done about Omega Red is an even more interesting question. Jean manages to rifle through his mind and ends up finding out that Wolverine was totally on the money when he said that this guy was working for the Vampire Nation and Dracula. The only problem is the X-Men can't actually glean any useful information about the vampires from Omega Red's mind, as it seems that Dracula actively hypnotizes him during those meetings so he doesn't remember anything. For his dishonesty in selling out mutant kind, Wolverine either wants Omega Red in the center of Krakoa right next to Sabretooth or in a grave. Beast, though, continuing his amoral streak, thinks much differently. You see, like the real spy master he is, Hank starts to think that if they had sent Omega Red undercover to feed the vampires information, then maybe they could flip Omega Red and send him back as a double agent. And the first step to doing that may begin with the synthesizer. After all, Dracula and his people had given it to Omega Red as payment. Little did Omega Red know there was actually a big explosive in it. Beast conscripts Forge to build a brand new synthesizer, complete with listening technology and tracking device. That's the easy part. The hard part, though, is actually being able to send Omega Red in at all without Dracula reading his mind and knowing that he's being lied to. For that to work, though, they're gonna have to make sure that Omega Red doesn't even know he's a double agent, and the first step in that plan is, well, killing him. You see, despite the Five's protest, Beast plans for Omega Red to be reborn, with memories completely wiped and the brand new spy tech installed in him. The Five think this is an incredibly gross perversion of their power, but are checkmated by the Quiet Council to do it anyway. In fact, the Five actually bring up a rather interesting point. Couldn't they just bring Omega Red back without a need for the synthesizer, or even get rid of some of his traumatic memories so maybe he would be more willing to help the X-Men? All very interesting little moral conundrums to chew on for another day. From there, we actually switch on over to Beast for once trying to do something good and make his own attempt at an apology. It would seem that Pietro has set up in the Savage Land with his girlfriend now, almost like he's trying to get as far away from the X-Men and X-Force as humanly possible. Beast hopes that Colossus will accept some special Krakoan paints for his next portrait project, but his water-bending girlfriend doesn't want him anywhere near him. Eventually, Colossus is called off, and the idea gets batted around that maybe Hank isn't doing this so much out of the goodness of his heart as he is hoping that Colossus will fill Jean's void on the intelligent side of X-Force. So yeah, as it stands right now, there's still a lot of hurt feelings, still a lot of skullduggery, but at least things can't get any worse for the agents of X-Force. That is, of course, until it absolutely does. An American ship off the course of the island ends up coming under attack by plants. At first, you start to think, oh wait, is Krakoa attacking people now? Wouldn't that be an interesting development? But no, this is actually yet another one of Beast's schemes coming back to bite him in the ass. Remember those plant zombies from a few arcs ago? Well, they've hitched a ride with these dead American seamen now and have washed up on the beaches of Krakoa looking for revenge. And it's on that shocking note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was X-Force number 15, everybody. And while I'm certainly happy to get back to the good stuff that I was enjoying from X-Force before X of Swords, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed that we didn't get more Fallout. Yeah, I know only Wolverine was really involved in the X of Swords story, but still. The fact that we just kind of pick up in this story like nothing had happened gave me a bit of creative whiplash. Still not to say I didn't enjoy the story, though. What worked about it continues to work. Percy continues to weave a morally complex spy tale, and Kasara definitely does good with all the gross plant monsters. Overall, I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Pretty solid, but it will take me a while to reacclimate to everything that's going on here post X of Swords. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me and the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.